Before you count calories and before you step on the scale and before you do a bunch of cardio, make sure to do these 4 things or else your results might not last. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you being here. And if you do like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And just know that I always have my online coaching in a link in description where you can apply through there with a little bit of a questionnaire and see if we'd be a good fit together. Since coaching a bunch of people with fat loss, I noticed that I kept saying the same 4 points whenever someone would even just come up to me inquiring about fat loss. Without these foundational points, the journey seems much harder, or worse, unsustainable. So let's get started with the very first point. Buy a food scale. This is absolutely necessary. This is going to be a lifesaver for just calming you down in the case that you're not sure with exactly what you're eating. This completely wipes that whole fear. A food scale helps with every single thing that you are putting in your body, whether that's grams, milliliters, liters, anything that you can eat or drink, you can track on a food scale to know the exact amount of calories that you are consuming. It's super helpful because it can address a certain problem with 99% of people. They assume they know what they eat every day. I hear it way too many times where people are like, oh no, I know roughly what I eat every day and I know exactly the amount of chicken I have or the amount of peanuts I have. It's all in their head. But something with their head is it gets busy in there. So you're not always going to remember exactly what you are having. And the main problem with guesswork is the fact that you can't guess what something weighs, because really it's a big realization moment for most people when they put a bowl of peanuts on the scale and they realize that it's actually 500 calories that they're eating instead of just a small handful. And this is where I typically tell someone to also make sure to not use those preset size cups because they're not exact either. It's nothing compared to an actual number that you're putting on a scale. And when this is super affordable too, it makes no sense not to use one because it's super simple and it saves you time. Most people think it adds a ton of time to their eating time or just overall time throughout the day, but it does not take that much time once you get really good at how to use it, because it takes 2 seconds to put a plate on there, put the food you're going to eat, and then weigh it out, and then you know for certain the amount of calories that you're eating. It's a change of habits for sure, but the stress of having the numbers in your head compared to just knowing for sure what they are is so much more relieving when we're trying to lose weight. We want everything else to be exact and just set in stone, and we don't really want any unnecessary guesswork when we're trying to just lose some body fat off us. Point number 2 is going to be setting realistic goals and timelines. These goals are important because they're going to help with the mental side of things, because sometimes once we're in the situation, it's difficult to remind ourselves of what our goal and timeline actually is. So setting realistic goals and a timeline that makes sense is going to just help you visualize it and get it going in your mind and what you have a plan. Because if you don't plan for it and you try to wing it, it will go much worse, I promise you. I typically recommend a long game for fat loss because 1, it just helps you develop a understanding of how fat loss works and how your body works, and you just learn the process of how to sustain it instead of going through an aggressive cut in 2 weeks, which some people do, and I'm not saying you don't need to, but a 2-week aggressive cut is so much harder to sustain because you didn't really learn anything in that 2 weeks. You just lost a ton of fat, and you're probably going to regain it if you didn't learn any lessons. So a long game looks like 1 to 2 pounds per week, or even 0.5 to 2 pounds per week, because this is just more of a long game where you're learning the processes. You're learning how to track calories, learning the food scale, learning your body, getting your workouts in, understanding what keeps you full and what just doesn't keep you full, and what are bad food habits and what are good food habits. These things are necessary to understand when we're trying to lose weight, because we want to build a habit or foundation that we can sustain, so once we hit our goal weight, we never go back to what we once were. And don't get me wrong, it's so annoying accepting the long game initially because you're like, oh, my goals are so far away. Why am I doing this? I should just do the shortcut. But when you know that you're going to learn so much throughout this long period of time, you're going to be so much more grateful crossing the finish line there compared to just a short sprint to the finish line where you didn't learn anything. So don't just do a month. Do something like 3 to 6 months. I promise you, you won't regret it. Doing the long game is so much more beneficial. Number 3 is finding your maintenance and sticking to it, because it's not always an easy answer finding your maintenance, and you're going to need to know this before even going in your diet. To find what might be your average maintenance, all you have to do is go on Google and look up a calorie calculator, and all you have to do is type in some stuff like your activity levels, your height, your weight, your age, and stuff like that, and it's going to give you a rough range of what your maintenance could be. Do keep in mind though that that number that it gives you is not your answer right away. It's just a guess because it doesn't know you exactly. It's just trying to do some simple math. So you need to test this number out. This is where I recommend people to do like a 2-week or 1 to 2 week trial to see if their maintenance number is actually their maintenance number. So you'd get like a weight scale and you'd weigh yourself every single day for 14 days and eat at that maintenance calorie number. 1, this teaches you tracking and how to actually eat at maintenance, but 2, it answers your question if that's actually your maintenance. Because if you stay at the same weight at the end of the 2 weeks, then that was your maintenance calories. But if you gain a pound, then you were in a surplus. But if you lose a pound, then you were in a deficit. So that wasn't your maintenance. And if that's a case that you gained or lost some weight, then there's no worries. You just need to adjust the calories accordingly to whether you gained weight, then I would maybe subtract 100 calories off what you were eating. Or if you lost weight, then just add 100 calories and see if you stay at the same weight now after a week of trialing that new number. And once you find that number, I would just go 1 more week just to be absolutely certain that that's your maintenance calories. And then good for you. You know exactly the amount of calories to stay at the weight that you are right now. And that's a superpower. Point number 4, and that's knowing the importance of the gym when losing weight. Because just with losing weight alone, you do not need to work out. Because if you just ate in a calorie deficit, you would start to lose weight. But that weight wouldn't just be fat. It would also be some muscle. And usually the outcome of what people start to look like when they do that is that skinny fat look that not everyone loves. And this is where the importance of the gym comes in maintaining that muscle that we have or even building some. Because we want to look good when we lose fat. We don't want to just have that skinny fat look that a lot of people get when they just don't value the power of working out at all. We want to see a lean physique where we have some muscle on our body and we're confident with ourselves. Working out 3 to 4 times per week and making sure we hit our protein goal, which would be 1 gram per pound of what you weigh, or if you're trying to lose weight, 1 gram per pound of what weight you want to achieve. This will help keep the muscle or maybe even build some while losing fat. And this is such a great combo. Because now when you lose fat, you're gonna see the muscle that you have and that you put on, and you're gonna be so much more proud of the body that you have instead of just that skinny fat look where if we didn't work out at all. So make sure to understand the importance of the gym and a protein goal. And that's the 4 points that you need to know or understand when going into a diet. Because if you understand those foundational points, I promise you, you will be going in much stronger than not knowing them at all. You'll definitely have the body that you dreamt of, and you'll have some lessons learned and be able to maybe teach some others now who are wanting to look like you. And that's it for the video. If you did learn anything, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're looking for online coaching, there's a link in description where you can apply through a questionnaire to see if we're a good fit. Take care.